Alright folks, let's try this again. So, this is a proof of life for an Atari 800 Incognito install. And so I've got the top off here so that you can see everything that's been done. You may notice that there is a switch here. That's the ATR switch as well as the LED for the hard drive access. Yes, I know a lot of people say put it right here. A couple of things. First of all, it requires drilling holes in the power board, which is the most likely thing to go in these old machines. Two, it requires a little bit of artistry. I'm not a great artist. Stick figures exceed me. So this takes me about 2 or 3 hours just to do this switch. I know it shouldn't take 2 or 3 hours. Laugh if you'd like. However, I ain't doing it unless I have, and if I do it, then I have to charge labor for it. So what I've done here, I've just wired up an LED and a momentary switch. It's all hidden once you close the door here, and once you load it up, and it tucks in nice and neat here. I mean, who uses the right cartridge slot anyways? Or if you really want, you can wind it out here and keep the door closed. It's up to you. The Incognito's right here. This is the compact flash slot. You take out all the RAM cards and the ROM cards, and you run a few wires, and then you put it back in. And once you have reassembled everything, and so I'm going to leave that lid off, and I'm going to put this in here just to keep the button down. Okay, and then let's turn it on here. Okay. Alright, so it's booting up just like Ultimate 1 Make might be. We're going to boot into the BIOS and we're going to press the Atari key and reset. Right now it's configured as an XLXE. You can change the RAM on that, whatever you'd like to do with it. You can change the operating system. You can also change it into an 800, which is really cool. So we're going to boot into 800 mode right now. Okay, it's got no cartridges installed, it's got no disk drive attached, so it boots into the memo pad. We can do a keyboard test. Okay, and that's a little ditty just to test all the keys. It's an old typing phrase. It used to be now's the time for all good men. That we might update it for the 21st century there, but it all works nicely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the Atari key again, and I'm going to put it back into XLXE mode, and I'm going to do a save, and then I'm going to go to the loader, and the loader is where we get all of our goodies. Okay, one of the reasons we have a switch here is for multi-disc games. And if you have a game that's multiple discs or stretch across side 1 or side 2, how do you tell the computer to change discs if there's not a physical drive? Well, that's what the switch is for. So you create a map file and tell the computer, okay, here's where I have these files stored, so when you go to look for the second drive, this is what you need to do. So we're going to load that map file by pressing enter. Map file says, okay, load the first ATR, and then that's loaded. You start it. You can see it's loading. Okay. Now it says, okay, insert site 2. Well, how do I do that? Well, that's where this switch comes in right here. So we're going to press this switch just once. Boom. Press the enter key, and then it loads site 2. You can also see the LED. And now it runs its course. Okay? It's also very loud, so I'm going to turn that off. You load cartridges just the same way you would load anything else. I'm going to put a Pac-Man cartridge in here, just like this. And I'm going to turn this on. Okay, boom. Going to grab the best joystick ever made, the Epix XJ 500, or 500 XJ I should say. Okay. Alright, see? All good. Oh, I am so not good at this game. Okay, we're going to turn this off. So, that shows you the cartridges, it shows you the hard drive. One of the things I want to show you, too, now, I've got this particular compact flash set up as J, K, L, and M. So I said drive J, voila. Okay, and so you've got access to hard drive storage, you've got access to 800 programs and XLXE programs, you've got expanded memory for both sides. The world's really your oyster there. You can do whatever you'd like to it. We're going to button this back up, and I'm going to shut it off here and just show you how I button it back up. So I'm going to take this compact flash card out because this is mine. Do recommend that you get the SanDisk and that you get the 15 megabyte or slower. Let's see if you can see that. These are great and they're fairly inexpensive. You can get any size, but the bigger you get, the faster they are, and they tend to be not as reliable when they're faster. Alright, so we're going to just take this out because that's just holding the button down, remember. Okay, and then you give me a second here. You can watch while I fiddle with it. Okay, so I just sort of flatten this out. And we're going to put this, make sure all the wires are down. Okay. And then do just like we normally would for the 800. And push this into its slots. Okay. Little divot there. It just tucks right in there like that. Okay. No worries at all. And then it closes up just like normal, and then okay, on and on. Okay, so pretty cool, huh? So, and just to show you again, okay, we're going to put it in 800 mode, which is Colleen mode, and we're going to turn on Spartados, and we're going to boot. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. So the hard drive is all turned on. It's going to look for that hard drive as long as you have this enabled. I've set the date and time. So the hard disk is enabled. You can disable it just by pressing enter. And I like color 8. I don't know why, that's just what it is. You can change it, of course. And then we're going to leave this as Colleen, and you can play with it as you'd like. Save changes, and that's as easy as pie there. Okay? And we're going to turn this off, and we're going to get that all buttoned up and shipped off to you. Enjoy, and everybody else, I hope you learned a thing or two, and we'll see you on the flip side.